So what if you could literally start over in 2026? And the cool thing is you literally can. So I'm going to talk about various psychology literature and how that ties into rewriting your identity coming into this new year. So let's get into it. Okay, starting with the fresh start effect. So this is a behavioral concept where a temporal landmark will make us, will basically like catalyze change for us. You will feel detached from the old version of you, which will actually make becoming someone new much easier. So yeah, I have this diagram to show that. So significant moment in this situation may be the new year. Oftentimes for people, this may be some sort of life event, but the new year can be that for you. And it brings you closer to your goal, and it's going to drive up the rate of your change, essentially. So knowing that significant moment is coming up for us, you're going to want to start thinking about what the new you can be. And the sky really is the limit, as we're going to learn. So talking now about self-perception theory. The idea is that we don't change through goals, but we change by adopting a new identity and proving this through small actions. So essentially, this is like a very simple diagram to kind of show this, but really the whole point is that identity is at the core of everything. So that's why oftentimes people fall off from habits as well, because they may still identify with the past them who had bad habits, who maybe like wasn't acting, wasn't putting their best foot forward. And because like their confidence and their identity is still tied into that, they're not able to maintain those new changes. So you actually have to identify as a happy person, a healthy person, a productive person, etc. Moving on, this is called self-discrepancy theory. And the idea is that you have your actual self, an ideal self, and a ought self, as they call it, and that there's a discrepancy between all these selves. So an exercise that am going to incorporate into this video, and I'm going to show you how, surprise, surprise, you can do this within Notion, because I like want to do everything in Notion. I am basically going to make an ought self list. And then for the sake of the video, I'm keeping all of this, but really you would make this like its own page and really give it a nice have grab a coffee and actually really brainstorm. You could also do this on paper, of course. So ought self. So name all the things about your ought self. So like maybe that's like poor eating habits. Maybe that is being short and snappy with people. Maybe that is doom scrolling. All sorts of things. So make a list of all the things you do that you think are part of this ought self. In many cases, like your ought self, it's also not your actual self. Like sometimes you think worse of yourself, and then you have this ideal self. Your actual self, maybe it's somewhere in between, but of course, if you can get to that ideal self, that would be awesome. So exercise number 1 that I am recommending is listing all those things that you want to leave behind. So that is exercise 1. You can write out these beliefs, rules, habits, burn them, shred them. Maybe you keep them so that later you can look back and look at your progress. Really up to you, but I think it's a great exercise to do. Then moving on to the identity construction. So it's essentially the opposite of what we just did. And the idea comes from narrative psychology. We become the stories we tell about ourselves. And new identities start with new narratives. So choose your it says 2025 here, I meant 2026. Choose your 2026 identity. You can write a short story. I personally don't do that. I prefer like lists. But it's your chance to like author this new kind of chapter in your life. So taking from here, I'm going to move this down. So this is exercise 2, let's say new self. And yeah, so here the idea is to list all the things that this new person does. I have in the past, when I've like been working on a specific area of my life, literally given it a name. I have referenced this in prior videos too, in the last video that I did. It's the alter ego effect. It's real. So create this new person. But I think like when you give it a name, sometimes you kind of, that provides a level of separation, which I don't think is good. You want to actually become that person. So totally up to you if that works for you. For some people it does, for some people it does not. But moving into the new year, what is that new reborn person gonna look like, act like, feel like? It's a form of manifestation as well. Okay, so I'm just going to add a couple of examples. So, for example, wake up feeling refreshed every single day. Another example may be to be active every single day. So, just start to build those out and create the new you.